Welcome to this week's webisode of The Better Half. I'm Kendra D. St. Aubin, the better half of Gambo Nash, the afternoon show, and this is Katie Hartley, the better half of the morning show with Doug and Wolf. We're going to take a look back at some of the things that have been going on this week.
Well, let's start in London, in a small town outside of London called Wimbledon, one of the most famous tennis championships in the world. And we heard a very interesting story this week about one of the well-known referees wanting to basically ban grunting. So we pulled a video of Venus and Serena Williams playing and showing off their grunts. Ridiculous, Kendra, what do you think?
It's so ridiculous because they claim that it helps them hit the ball harder. I mean, last I heard from Navratilova, one of the tennis greats, she said the ball's pretty light last time she checked, and when she played, it's not going to help you hit the ball over the net. And then why don't the men do it? It's so ridiculous. And Serena Williams, if she's trying to help out her kind of manly image, she might want to avoid the grunting.
Well, and that's kind of what this referee is talking about, is it's not very sportsmanlike and it's not very ladylike either. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those meathead guys at the gym when they're lifting those giant weights and they're like, but those things are 200 pounds. I mean, how much does a tennis racket weigh?
Exactly. They're swinging this stupid little racket to get the ball over the net. I totally agree. That's why I keep my headphones on when I'm at the gym, so I don't have to deal with the meathead guys that are at the gym. But speaking of grunting or not grunting, we're going to talk about the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, which is in Phoenix, of course, this summer, just coming up just around the corner here, July 12th. And we were talking about All-Stars and who's our hero and our zero for the week. And what I decided to go with was Justin Upton. I think he is my hero because I think that he should make the All-Star game. Now, he's batting like .514 over his last 9 games. I know it's a small chunk. It's a small sample, but he's only 23 years old. He's only been in the league 4 years. I think he's got a ton of potential. He's really starting to come into his own. And I think part of that is because of manager Kirk Gibson, but he's my hero this week.
Well, and another big reason that he's a hero of the week is because he doesn't grunt. So good for you, Justin Upton. But my zero of the week is Stephen Drew. I kind of hope he doesn't make the All-Star team in July. Mostly because he's just a really bad interview. He's pretty boring, doesn't say a whole lot. So I don't think he's going to make the best representation for the Diamondbacks in the All-Star game.
Yeah, and no offense to any country fans out there, he has the worst walk-up music ever. I cringe. I love it when he's out of the lineup just so I don't have to hear that music every time he comes. Plus some lame country music song about, like, bacon.
Well, I'm okay that you have country music for your walk-up music. That's about the only thing I'm going for you, Steven. Sorry.
Terrible. Terrible.
Well, let's move on to the NBA draft, which is this week. And we were kind of talking earlier about who the guys are that we think have the most potential to do well in the NBA. Let's start with your pick. You went local, right?
I did. I went local with Derek Williams, and everyone knows, I mean, I'm not this huge Arizona Wildcat fan or a Sun Devil fan, but I do think his athleticism is going to translate into the NBA game. I mean, so many of these guys are unbelievable in college, but not everyone translates into the NBA, and vice versa. Someone who's kind of under the radar in college can find a spot in the NBA. So Derek Williams is my kind of go-to guy for as far as potential for the NBA draft. I think his game will translate.
And I disagree. I went with the NCAA leading scorer of 2011, Jimmer Fredette, the guard out of BYU. I just love him. I don't even care if he can't play basketball. He's so much fun to watch, and you know, I think that he'll bring such a different life into whatever team that he ends up with, and you know,
he's gonna bring a following.
They actually,
that's for sure.
They made a music video.
Oh, really? I haven't heard about this.
Which I don't know if you have heard of it, but as you can tell, my T-shirt. This is my top draft pick. So let's take a listen, and if you want, Kendra, I'll teach you how to do it.
Yeah, maybe after we're off.
See, it's so good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you can tell it's a really high-tech, high-quality video.
Who
It's like
cares?
a real
It's
production
funny.
company behind that.
It's funny.
It's hilarious, don't get me wrong, but I think that's what's unfortunate about the whole Jimmer thing is like he's become like a catchphrase and like a, you know what I mean? Don't you think he wants to just be known for his basketball and not like all the other goofy stuff?
Who cares, Jimmer? I love you.
She is single too, Jimmer, just so you know. Maybe if the Suns get him at 13, there's a chance.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
you never know.
Call me Jimmer. But until then, follow us on Twitter. She's at Kendra620. I'm at FunKatie620. Join us next week for another webisode of The Better Half.